Before we get into this video, I do want to let you know that this video is sponsored by Skillshare, but we will get to that a little bit later. What's up, Thumpers? Welcome back to a very special and quite different episode of Hyper Heroes. As you can see, we are all socially distancing from each other. That's right. You may have learned today that, we don't in fact live together. Surprise, everyone. So many people have been talking about the fact that, like, oh man, it'd be so great if you guys did something together. I'm like, it would be great. The problem is that we don't live together. We don't live together.
What have we been saying for years, guys? What have we been saying?
Since 2014.
Every time a trailer drops, 7 a.m. Oh, where's your guys' trailer reaction in 30 minutes? And we're like, we do not live together.
Yeah, absolutely. Despite what our glasses tell you, we all live in different houses.
That's not how LA works. And now we have the luxury that, like, nobody's on the road, but nobody can travel. So even though it only take you like literally 5 minutes to get here, it's not the world we live in right now. So, but we thought it'd be a really great idea to get together and try to come up with a list of top X amount, in this case 15 quarantine essentials. We all picked 5 things that we think are just kind of like the best things, best case scenarios that you can have with you while we're going through the social distancing. And sometimes it's tough to pick 5.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I think we all love so many different types of comic books and games and movies and TV shows. So trying to come up with like 5 was super, super challenging for me, and I'm sure for you guys too.
Absolutely.
It wasn't that challenging for me.
No? Okay.
Let me tell you why.
Okay.
Because I agree with you in that the three of us, like Adam, Augustine, and I, we love a bunch of different shit. But the way that I take in my pop culture is I really do get obsessed with like 1 or 2 or 3 things at a time. I looked at this list of 5 and I went, I can give you the 5 things I'm kind of obsessed with right now that have been helping me in quarantine, because I know as soon as I'm done with one, I'll move on to the other. Like, thank you, Abby. Should I just jump into it, or
just jump into it, man? Let's go.
Okay.
You're up first, baby.
Yeah. I'm jumping into it. You're hearing my lovely girlfriend here in the background. Because I'm not quarantining alone. I'm very lucky. But number one thing is, let's go to movies. The movies that I have become re-obsessed with are the Indiana Jones movies. Why? Because they're comfort food to me. They represent childhood, and not only that, but I've had this great Indiana Jones Blu-ray set that a lot of people have for years and years, and I've never done this. I finally, after years and years, dived into all of the special features on the Blu-ray, every single behind the scenes making of, featurette, how it's made, all that stuff.
That's the best.
It's so good. And not only that, but not only the movies, but I have let myself get into the novels and the comic books and all the extra stuff for the Indiana Jones world. And it's been a blast. It's stuff that I've wanted to do for years. So Indy, number 1.
Yeah, and the thing I think what's great about Indy is, like, it is a little bit of film school too, because they're early Spielberg movies, and he was already very well established at that point. But I think you're right; it's that comfort food, and we all love Harrison Ford, and I think those adventures with that character are super, super great. And I actually would love to dive back into those special features, because I'm sure that there's a lot of really, really good stuff on the making of those movies.
Yeah, that's the only reason to buy a Blu-ray, is to get all the good special features. But something much more to say is that Harrison Ford is just charming. Just watch him on anything, dude. Anything that he does, he's just give me more. Just give me more.
Right.
Give me all that good stuff.
I agree.
So good. He's so good, man. So the next thing I'll pick is, in the world of TV shows, I finally got my lovely girlfriend, because this is not a show that she grew up with the way I did, into one of my favorite cartoons, Jackie Chan Adventures. Now, I need to do a little bit more research and figure out where, if there were any DVD or Blu-ray releases, maybe even outside of the U.S., because I know in the U.S. there were barely any. There was like a couple of episodes put on one DVD, and that's it. And this is a 5-season show. So what I did is I bit the bullet and I purchased the first season on Amazon just to watch it digitally. And we're going through it. And it is, again, you want to talk about comfort food? You know who else is the best? Jackie Chan.
Jackie Chan. 100%. Yeah.
Love him.
I remember just watching that show and just like really loving the feeling that it gives you, because every Jackie Chan movie has an uncle. So I love the fact that there's an uncle in Jackie Chan Adventures. And it's just like, it's again, that comfort. It's that feeling of like just spending time with someone who's so lovable is so good.
Yeah. So the next thing I got is, in the world of video games, this one is thanks to my roomie Keller. This dude knows how to throw down. He knows how to party.
He knows how to flip.
He knows how to flip, and this is about Just Cause 4. This game is insane. Keller and I Played the hell out of Just Cause 3. When 4 came out, we didn't quite get into it, but like Keller was telling me, since then they've done some upgrades. There's a hoverboard in the game now.
What?
Legit Back to the Future hoverboard that you can just press a button and you're on it at any time. You can fall from the sky, press the hoverboard, and you're all of a sudden surfing on a mountain into the ocean. It works over water. Like,
is this your opportunity to plug your own Twitch channel, Hector? Because
no, we don't stream nearly enough, but when we do, so far right now it's been Red Dead Redemption because I want to get through that story, and I'm emulating Jack Black, and he's playing Red Dead, and it's great. But Just Cause 4 is all about flips. I love this game.
What you know about flips?
It's so stupid fun. It's great. The next thing I've got is in the world of books. Now, this is kind of a joint obsession. In the past couple months leading up to the premiere of season 7 of Star Wars: The Clone Wars, I went, hey, I've never seen the show all the way through. So because it's on Disney Plus, I watched it in the correct order, not in the order that Disney Plus has it in. But at the end of that, I learned that there was a comic book and a novel that came out that are also tied into the Clone Wars. So I got the comic book. It's Darth Maul, son of Dathomir. It's dope. And then I got the book, which is called Star Wars: Dark Disciple. And it's about Asajj Ventress. And it's about Quinlan Vos. These are two fantastic characters, but especially Asajj Ventress is a wonderful character. And I'm also, along with that book, Dark Disciple, which I really, really enjoyed, despite some kind of tropey things in it. I also got in the past couple months a bunch more Star Wars books, and I'm trying to get into the world of the novels, and they're mostly pretty great. And I love Star Wars and have been obsessed with that for a long time. So I did that. And then the last thing I will talk about very quickly is a comic book. Only one issue has come out so far. It's only digital, and it's only 99 cents. It's on Comixology. It is Batman: The Adventures Continue. Here's why this is special. Paul Dini and Alan Burnett are writing it. Ty Templeton, who is a comic book artist best known for doing the tie-in comics for Batman, the Animated Series, and so on, is drawing it. And it is a continuation of Batman, the Animated Series. It takes place after Batman, but before Justice League. And they're introducing a bunch of characters that never made it into the DC animated universe of the 90s and 2000s. Characters like Red Hood, characters like Deathstroke. It's like, what are they going to do with this? And just that first little mini issue, which is only like 10 pages, but for $1, it was so good. And there was so much packed into it. And it's Bruce Wayne and Lex Luthor shows up, and it's awesome. And I was reading it while listening to the Batman the Animated Series score by Shirley Walker.
Of course.
Again, it's all about comfort food here, people. And so I highly recommend that comic, on top of like getting back into that whole world, which I know may be one of y'all's picks. But those are my 5 that I have been obsessed with in this quarantine and have been helping me get through it.
The thing that I love about both of those, both Star Wars and the Batman thing, is, again, this is like the word of the day. We should just title this video Comfort Food. It's the expansion. It's expanding into more of those worlds. And like, I think we all love the Bruce Timm Batman universe. So I think being able to explore more of that and bringing characters that we didn't get to see on the show is an amazing way to just kind of continue to keep that world alive. And when it comes to Star Wars, it's kind of the same thing. It's keeping that world alive, but it's just expanding upon stories that we already know. And for people like us who love Star Wars, that's kind of what we want. We want to just kind of like continue to live and breathe in that world.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, I love the new stuff they bring. Just like, to go back to what you said, Adam, the Star Wars stuff has added, like Star Wars Rebels has added so much richness to the universe of Star Wars, and stuff that came out of left field. It's really, really good stuff. So I'm all in for that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I'm going to go next because I want Adam to finish off strong. And I'm going to start off at the bottom of my list. And one of my things that I really, really love watching right now is Avengers: Earth's Mightiest Heroes. Probably one of the best Avengers cartoons that you will ever watch. It starts off really strong, and it caught me. I watched it maybe like 5 years ago when it was still kind of fresh. I didn't realize how good it was until I rewatched it again this quarantine like it's a holiday. I rewatched it again this quarantine time, Yuletide time. And it started off really strong because I feel like it did the Hulk more justice in 2 half-hour episodes than the entire MCU did all together. Like, the Hulk proves that he is the strongest there is because he goes up against Gravitron and defies gravity itself to save the day. And it's amazing. Absolutely amazing.
It's bar none the best Marvel animated series.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I would even put it up there with Batman the Animated Series in terms of like overall quality. It is so good. It has so many great overarching storylines. It is fantastic.
If you don't know about Secret Invasion, you got to watch this. This is This is Secret Invasion.
All right, adding that to my watch list now.
You got to watch that one, Adam. It's really, really good. Now I'm going to go off into the game universe, and I'm going to recommend Cuphead. Have you guys played Cuphead yet?
No.
Yeah, it's hard.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. And I chose this one because it's going to get your mind off of the other garbage that's going on in the day. Like it's something, it's frustratingly hard, but in a really fun way. And I also love this game because of the heart that it has behind it. If you know games, then you know where this game came from. But if you don't really know games, just a little quick synopsis. This was made by two guys. This was sort of their first venturing into animation and into games. And they knocked it out of the park. It's a 1930s style, big band, jazzy, like really cool animated side-scrolling hard-ass game. So highly, highly recommend.
Something to keep you busy for a long time.
Dude, no shit. I've spent 36 hours on it. I'm only like 50% of the way done. I've died about 1 million times.
Oh, man.
It's a great time suck because you do spend 4 hours just trying to get past one level. And you're like,
exactly. One boss, dude. I'm stuck right now.
Oh
I'm really
God.
stuck. And it's frustrating, but it's good. Next thing I'm going to recommend is actually a recommendation that Hector gave to me. Hellboy. Oh, the complete, what is this? The Complete Short Stories Volume 1.
Yep.
And I'm going to recommend this book because I read it on a flight from Colorado back to California. And it was actually really, really, really good. I did not have a deep connection with Hellboy very much. I did like the Guillermo del Toro movies. But this book made me really understand Hellboy because he goes into Mexico and has these crazy adventures with these wrestlers, fights zombies, gets married to some banshee woman, and like has all kinds of really, really crazy cool stuff in it that I highly recommend getting into because if you're not connected to Hellboy a little bit, this will definitely get you in that universe, in that headspace, because I didn't really understand him at first.
And you know what's really great about that too is that it's technically in chronological order.
Yes.
Hellboy comics have famously since 1994 hopped around in Hellboy's life. Like, you know, the first storyline is what is kind of the first Guillermo movie where he goes up against Rasputin. But then like they did comics that were prequels to that and so on and so forth. So this is the first time they're collecting it chronologically. So it opens with him as a little kid after he comes through the portal. And when he goes into Mexico, he's like a teenager, even though he still looks like a full-grown, 30-year-old Ron Perlman-looking motherfucker. He's still supposed to be like a teen. Yeah. And he goes through some real loss when he's in Mexico, and you can see how it affects him. So it's just really cool to experience all of his stories in the right or it's like, again, it's if you're obsessed with Star Wars, at some point you're gonna want to do that thing of, well, let me watch this in the order of like the timeline and see how that works. And that's what's awesome about that comic. Same,
and that's really what kind of made Hellboy click for me, because it was hard to kind of grasp on. It's that whole like, I don't know, the difficult thing to grasp with comic books once you're maybe like a year or two behind. It's a little bit hard to catch up. The next thing, I'm going to stay in the comic book world, and I'm going to recommend one of my favorite comics that I've read in a really long time, Silver Surfer Black. Yeah. This one, I don't know if you could tell, but it's ginormous.
Dude, the artwork in this book is...
And that's why you need to get this version, dude. This version is insane. Done by one of my favorite artists, Tradmore. Every page is like this. Well, first of all, the story. The story's fantastic. The story's really good. It delves into the morality and to the moral implications of what do you do when you're Galactus's herald and you just stand by and watch worlds get eaten. You know, like Norrin Rad, Silver Surfer, was a humanoid type person with emotions before he became the Silver Surfer, and he still has those, even though he does have the power cosmic inside him. And what do you do with that? Like, how do you deal with that? And it's kind of like his make or break moment, really. So cool. It's really, really cool. But Tradmore's art, Jesus Christ, it's on a whole nother level, man. He brings so much, like it's not traditional comic book artwork. The whole page is just like this free flowing graphic design haven, just this, it looks like a psychedelic dream, just all over the page. And it's beautiful and it's insane. And I highly, highly recommend getting the big version. And I think this is like a limited edition version of it. I'm not sure if it's readily available in this size, but if you can find it in this size, it's got this nice satiny cover with like the glossy hand, and you'll figure out what the hand's all about. It's really, really cool.
That was the thing about seeing. I admittedly have not read that run, but I have seen the pages from it because Zach reads and he loves it. It's so impressive. And I think, like, for me personally, I really like when a comic book kind of breaks the boundary of the panel.
Yeah.
And that's something that I think Tradmore does so incredibly well.
Absolutely.
And it feels so natural, and it feels so driven by story. And his perspective shots of Silver Surfer and making him look larger than life are absolutely like mind-blowingly phenomenal.
Okay, I've gushed on about that one a little bit too much. So my all-time favorite, and this is not going to be a shock to anybody, right? But it's Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Not much has to be said about Lord of the Rings, but I will tell you, right now it is hitting a lot different because specifically the Return of the King, the third movie in the trilogy. It's when it's hitting home, like the worst of the worst is happening. The smallest have to make the biggest change. Leadership has to come through, and you'll see that everybody who needs to shine shines, and it feels very reflective of like what we need right now.
Yeah.
So if you guys need a good pick-me-up movie, throw these suckers on. Maybe not the extended version because those are really long, but definitely the theatrical version.
Look, we don't know how long we're going to be in this hell, so you might as well just throw on the extended editions and just fully commit at this point.
I think
all the special features.
Exactly.
Yeah, and all the special features. I think it's only like $50 on Blu-ray.com, so you just jump on that and get it.
At this point, you could probably watch it once without the commentary, twice with the commentary, and you'd be fine
all
still.
The bonus footage, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, that's my list, Adam. What you got?
Good picks. Man.
Okay,
Good picks.
so again, like I mentioned at the top, this is for me it was a little harder to kind of figure out. Okay, if I had 5 things, and granted, we're not living on a deserted island; we are living in our homes. So the limit, there really is no limit. It's kind of endless. But if I were to really kind of pare it down to 5 things, and some of these are very recent things that I've experienced or found that I think would be really, really fun for people, I will start at the top of my list: the Marvel Cinematic Universe. 11 years of incredible storytelling from start to finish, multiple films, multiple characters, multiple worlds, so many different takes and flavors from different directors and writers. And I think we are so lucky that we've now lived in an era where this hugely expansive and immersive world exists. And if you're people like us, then you'll probably go out there and you'll probably find the 3D Blu-rays, or if you're a fan, you have the 3D Blu-rays. And I think right now is such a great opportunity to watch these movies in several ways. You can either watch them the way that they were released, or if you really wanted to dive in deep, you can try to go chronologically. Mm-hmm. Or you can, I've even seen lists of people making that are like just cherry picking certain character stories and following them from the first movie all the way through Avengers. I think if you want to have the most fulfilling experience, you should experience the whole universe. And especially for a lot of people who are out there who maybe haven't seen all these films, right now is such a great opportunity to just dive into the whole thing and to understand like what's been the hype about this thing for the last 11 years. Now is
no
like
excuses, people.
Now is like the
no
prime
excuses.
time, baby.
You have until November when the next one comes out. Now they push it back just for you.
They gave you an extra 6 months, bro.
That's it.
Exactly,
and I'll even add on to that, Adam.
Yeah.
Because I've been doing this in the past couple months, and I need to go and do season 2 and beyond. But like, not only start at the beginning, Iron Man 1, then go to Iron Man 2, whatever, but watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. in between when the movies come out, which is when that show was like set up to how that's supposed to be, existing. Watch the first season of Daredevil before like, Avengers Age of Ultron and Ant-Man, like to try to plug the TV shows in there. Get caught up. Let's do this.
Hector, that's watching on expert mode, dude.
Go full on.
Advanced, baby. Advanced.
What else are you doing?
I know.
I know you ain't doing shit. You ain't doing shit.
That's my favorite thing when people are like, oh, yeah, you want to set up a meeting or a Skype thing? And they're like, oh, I'm kind of busy. I'm like, don't lie to me. You have nothing going on.
You ain't doing shit.
Next thing on my list is actually something that I've recently discovered, an extremely, extremely fun board game called the Blockbuster Party Game. So this game doesn't really work if you live by yourself, unfortunately. You have to have at least 3 people to be able to pull this off. So I know for some people it's like, well, a 2-person game doesn't really work for me. So maybe this will kind of like axes out on a lot of people's lists. But if you live in a house that has 3 or more people, Hector, this would be like perfect for you.
And I have this game.
Oh, you do have this game,
and I've never played it.
Oh my God, this game is so incredibly fun. Tonight or one of these days, you guys got to play this game. It's super, super fun. It's a fun way for you to get together with another person, play on teams, and you have 3 prompts. You either act out something from a movie, you either have to quote it or you have to describe it in one word without using the movie title itself. Great. And there's a nice fun game of like chain link where you have to try to outsmart there's a prompt, for example, that we had when we played it was movies that start with S. You can't name sequels. So it's like, if I say Superman, other person says Star Wars, and it's just a back and forth. There's a lot of timing. Exactly.
Spider-Man.
Scooby-Doo. There's a whole lot of timing stuff happening. It's just a really, really fun, exhilarating game, and you have to really be creative. And the whole objective is you have to try to collect 8 cards from different categories of movies. So they have like action, mystery, horror. It's very fun. It gets very competitive and ridiculous. And I think a lot of people would enjoy this game if they tried it out.
Okay.
Next is another Blu-ray set. Look, we're all about these Blu-ray sets, damn it. If you're not collecting Blu-ray sets, then you're living your life just incorrectly.
But this Blu-ray set is also available in HD
yes.
on a specific streaming service.
Yes.
So go on.
Yes. Batman the Animated Series. So kind of piggybacking a little bit off of Hector's comic book, Batman the Adventures Continue. If you have not experienced that yet, then I think Batman the Animated Series is a beautiful starting point. Is it required viewing before you read the comic? No, not necessarily. But if you want to experience an amazing animated series, I think Batman the Animated Series is probably in the top 5 of like one of the greatest animated shows based on a superhero character that you will find, period, end of sentence. Incredible artwork, incredible storytelling. The voice acting from everybody in that cast is amazing. Mark Hamill as the Joker is probably one of the dopest things in that show in existence. So I think that to me is like one of the most fulfilling watches. And I think if you buy the Blu-ray box set, I believe it also comes with The Mask of the Phantasm and Sub-Zero.
There you go. Yep.
So you get a bonus, baby. You get 2 movies in there. And yeah, if you wanted to, you can get that either through Amazon or, like Hector was saying, it's on DC Universe. Next thing on my list, we all have a lot of time, lots of time. So I think everybody should learn how to cook something. Hector, I'm looking at you.
All right, you lost me. I'll see you guys later.
Bye.
So I've been consuming a lot of cooking stuff even prior to everything that's been going on. But 2 channels that I've recently started watching, probably in the last like 4 to 6 weeks, that I've loved one is Joshua Weissman, who is also known as Flaky Salt on TikTok, who does really, really fun cooking videos. He was a chef, so he teaches a lot of really great stuff of like the very basics of like, you want to make bread, the basics. You want to make this thing, the basics. And he does a lot. He's from Texas, so there's a lot of really, really good meals, stuff that we love, like breakfast tacos and all that sort of stuff. And he's now even turned to, and I think this is going to sort of become a trend for a lot of people, is really focusing on not necessarily DIY, but trying to make the best meals with as little as you can. Because as we all know, we're trying to really stay away from hoarding. And I think right now being really creative in the kitchen is something, 1, that's really fun. 2, it's something that will really keep your creativity going. A second channel that I really love to watch is Alex the French Guy. So fun, so hilarious. He's
Alex the French Guy.
Alex the French Guy cooking. He just did an episode not too long ago where he went to Sweden and he made Swedish meatballs with a chef in Sweden. Some really good cooking stuff. He kind of tends to sometimes break it down from a more, I guess, a little bit more of a scientific perspective of like why certain things are the way they are, why flavors taste the way that they taste, and how the combination of stuff can affect sort of the outcome. It's really fun and surprisingly like very engaging. And like I think now is a really, really good time for people how to learn just even the basics. Come on, Hector.
I just subscribed to both of those channels, Adam.
Hell yeah.
Also, I'm going to add some bonus information on the cooking stuff because I've been cooking a lot more.
Yeah.
Get yourself some cast irons.
Oh my God.
Take care of them.
Please, for the love of God, get a cast iron.
Yeah.
I think I think that's kind of been like the most valuable thing I've really learned is like the power of the cast iron is like your one pan for everything cooking, man. It's absolutely amazing.
1 pan or 4 like I have, but whatever.
That's true. That's true. Hey, look, you have some for different depths for different things.
Yeah,
you know what I
yeah,
mean?
Exactly.
And the final thing, it's not necessarily has nothing to do with anything, a physical object, but I think right now is a really, really good opportunity for people who are able to work from home and maybe are not having to put in as many hours as they normally have to be creative and experiment. We know so many people around us, and I'm sure we all know people in our lives who have really wanted to pursue something, whether it's photography, videography, and as much as people would say, like, yeah, but it's really limited, like you can't leave the house right now. I think that's a fun creative challenge. How do you make your environment interesting, whether it's through video or through photo? If you wanted to finally learn how to do something, whether it's Photoshop or After Effects, I think all of that stuff right now is kind of prime time. And I think like this is a perfect way to bring in our sponsor, which is Skillshare. Now, I've talked about Skillshare plenty of times in the past, but let me remind you again why I love them so much. We are currently living through a very interesting time, and because of everything that's happening in the world, and maybe you have this anxiety that's built up within you, right now is a great opportunity for you to explore classes that might help you express what you're feeling through creative self-discovery. If you're not sure about what's next, maybe take that as a creative challenge to find ways where you can make small goals and make incremental changes or implement new things into your life that could help make you feel super accomplished. I love video editing. I also very much love visual effects. That's how I got my start in the industry. And I also love color correcting. It's a newly discovered skill that I love. And I think one of the most essential things that I love and that Skillshare really has to offer is great things related to productivity. An amazing course that I'm currently in the middle of is Real Productivity: How to Build Habits That Last by Thomas Frank. Thomas Frank is someone who I followed from YouTube over to Skillshare on other social media platforms as well, and someone who I really can trust in teaching me good skill sets and setting me up for success in the future. And I think that's something that we can all relate to and something that I think we all can really use right now. And if everything that I've said so far sounds amazing, well, here's the deal. If you go down to the description of this video, you click the link, the first 1,000 people, that's right, the first 1,000 people will get 2 months of premium Skillshare for free. Outside of that, you're more than welcome to join Skillshare for the low price of under $10 a month. And I really do think that this is an amazing opportunity for us as creators and us as individuals to look at ourselves and to find that thing that really fuels our passion and to find a really great way for us to stay motivated, to stay healthy mentally, and to just have an amazing community to look forward to. So I hope you guys have enjoyed our top 15 picks technically of things that we highly recommend. There's so much more stuff out there that we think a lot of you guys would enjoy. If you have any other questions about things that you think we could recommend to you, hit us up on social media, whether it's our individual channels or at Hyper Heroes on Twitter or even on Instagram, or you can hit us up on HyperRPG wherever. You can also join the Discord, discord.gg/HyperRPG. You know, I'm pretty active on there as well. So if you have any questions or you want recommendations, just ask. That's what we're here for. We're a resource. We are all in this together, and I think we're going to come out of this being very well educated on every movie that has ever come out in the history of movies.
I miss you guys. It was good to see y'all.
I know.
Yeah, you too, guys.
Hopefully we can do this more often.
We will.
Let's plan some stuff. Now we got stuff cooking. We got some stuff cooking.
Make sure you guys subscribe, follow us on social media, and go get to watching those movies and playing those games. And stay safe out there.